beautiful for YouTube. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of uggos on YouTube. Oh,
Hey! Hi! It's me, Wilhelmina. Oh, no, that's you.
that's me.
It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, and my drag daughter.
Wilhelmina Box Fart.
And we are here to review Canada's Drag Race Season 2, Episode 3. So exciting. But before we get started, we have to have some inspirazione.
Oh.
Jorge, drink us! Ooh, look at this. What is this? Ooh. It's strawberry vodka and soda. Oh, well, cheers.
Fancy.
I know, right? All right. Let me try this. This is from Antigonish, Nova Scotia, this strawberry vodka. Wow.
Woo!
There's more vodka than strawberry going on in there, I'll tell you what. I think we should just get to it.
Let's just jump right in.
All right, so we started this episode off by saying goodbye to Oceane Aqua Black. And I have to say, I was surprised at how emotional Isis was over it.
I was too. I didn't realize that, that they were best buds.
No.
I got the impression that they were friends outside of the show.
Also, I'm having problems with these queens that say, I sent someone home. You didn't.
You didn't. That's
You
the
didn't
rules
send
of
them home.
The rules of the game.
No,
you didn't send anyone home.
you just lip sync less bad than they did.
You just saved yourself by the skin of your little teeth.
Or, more to the point, you were up against lesser queens.
Lesser queens.
That's all. That's all. Now, not that Oceane Black. Do you feel that Oceane Black did worse than Isis Couture?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I thought her face was worse.
Well,
I thought her outfit was great. I thought her makeup was, interesting choices.
yes.
And I thought her lip syncing wasn't as entertaining as Isis was.
Yes, but now in Oceane's defense, all the queens seem to be sorry to see her go. I mean, clearly she was a good Judy to them.
Well, she seemed like a hoot. She's, but this isn't Canada's best Judy race, is it? No, it's not.
It is not. Of course, all the queens took a moment to congratulate Isis for surviving. Anyway, let's just say surviving. But they did point out to her that she was in the top the week before and now is in the bottom.
Well, they do so love to just stir that drag queen pot as if there isn't enough drama there already. It's like, remember how great you were last week? How the mighty have fallen. Try not to screw it up again this week.
But I think that's good. I think having people there kind of reminding you not to get ahead of yourself.
Well, I think, landing in the bottom is in itself a good reminder not to get too full of yourself. But that's a tough road to hoe. I would rather be bottom first week, have a scare, and then pull it back together rather than top the first week, be on top of the world, and then
BS.
Sorry.
Speaking of getting called out, Kimora asked Eve how it felt to be in the bottom 2 weeks in a row.
Well, it doesn't feel great, Kimora. It doesn't feel great. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it doesn't feel great.
No.
And I think you probably could have assumed it doesn't feel great.
Not one queen is going to be like, fantastic!
Oh, I love it! It's just lit a fire under my little
joy
toe.
I'm experiencing, you have no idea.
I love it. Who needs medication?
Well, of course, it did what Kimora wanted it to do, because immediately Eve got emotional again. I mean, we're on episode 3 and she's cried 700 times.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Eve getting emotional is it encouraged her, or maybe guilted her, into apologizing for Kendall for she didn't come for her, but she did accuse her of ignoring her on some level in a contest. We're in a contest and you're not paying me any attention.
Why are you paying more attention to the people that you know better?
Or yourself.
Why are you being a normal human being? I don't understand this normal human interactions. Why are you acting like a normal human, Kendall?
No kidding. So the next day in the workroom, the queens got Rue's video message quite quickly. They didn't have a lot of time to kibitz.
Yeah?
And,
did you like this outfit on Rue?
Again?
Any surprises?
The same one? The one that we've seen for the last 3 years? That's not true. Actually, she is wearing a different one on the UK one.
Yeah.
But this does look like the outfit, or at least the wig that she wore for Holland.
Yeah.
Rue's video message this week had a lot of horror movie puns and innuendos, and had the queens all kind of wondering what was up. Yeah. Well, now keep this in mind. This is well planned, because this episode aired the week of Halloween. So this was the perfect time for
That's
this.
very clever.
Yeah, yeah. And before the queens could get too confused, Amanda Brugel popped in.
Yay!
Being all Amanda Brugel, as
Brugel.
only she can do.
The more I see her, the more I just find her such a charming delight.
Yeah.
What a goddamn delight that Amanda Brugel
Yeah,
is.
I'm so glad she's on Drag Race because I had no idea who she was before this.
she's
Really,
a treat.
really, she's lovely. And so she brought the queens the Maxi Challenge this week. No mini challenge. I'm not a fan of a no mini challenge week.
It feels like a shorter episode when they do that.
Especially when after you've watched the whole episode, you're like, what the hell did I just watch? Do you know?
What did I just watch? Did you cut it to make more room for drama? Where do you think the drama comes from?
No kidding. So Amanda told them that this week they would be filming a horror movie spoof called Screech. Now, for those of you who aren't Canadian, Screech is a rum-like liquor that more or less moonshine. Is it rum?
It's rum.
Is it rum?
Yeah, they traded it.
Oh, so it's rum.
Yeah.
And so when you're in Newfoundland and it's your first time in Newfoundland, they screech you in, and there's this whole process. Have you been screeched in?
No, I haven't been screeched in because my dad is from Newfoundland, so I'd been there many a time before I was allowed to drink.
So because Pythia had won last week, she got to, because they had no mini challenge, assign all the roles for this little spoof.
So it's a blessing and a curse.
Yes, well, I don't know. I think that as long as you get what you want, who cares what anyone else has to say about it?
I don't care about making my sister shine.
No, and for the most part, I'm going to say there were no crossovers as far as, not like with the clown thing. They were pretty. They were pretty. Everyone had an idea of what they wanted to do, and they were good with it. Except that Eve wanted to play Nara Hader, and the reason she wanted to play Nara Hader is Nara Hader was the narrator of the show, and she did a lot of like comments to camera, and she wanted to really show off.
She wanted some screen time.
Yeah,
and a character who
and good
gets to
for
look
her.
directly
And
into
good
the
for her.
screen. Why
But
not?
my first thing was, is this going to be like the singing?
Yeah, can you talk to a screenie?
Because if you're going to put yourself out there, you had better deliver
If you're
it.
going to be the center of attention,
Yeah.
you better
Yeah.
deserve
And
that attention.
yeah, and God bless Stephanie Prince because she wanted to play Nara Hader too.
Oh, she saw a big juicy roll, so like, let me.
Well,
stick
until
my
she
fingers
saw how
into that.
juicy that big role was,
So
and
many words.
she was afraid. She knew she
So
wouldn't
many
get them all
words.
memorized, so she backed out. Bless her.
I'd like to play a clown again. No, is that not an option? All right, I'll pick something else.
Well, and the only other conflict was Isis and Cynthia Kiss wanted to play Jocelyn Strap, the muscle queen, and neither of them backed down. There was no acquiescence from either of the queens. So again, in true Canadian form, rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
And well, Isis won.
Yeah, nary a muscle between the two of them, so that was the fairest way to solve it.
Yeah, and in fact, I feel like somebody strained a muscle just doing that.
Oh God, you could throw out an eye, a back.
You do rock, paper, scissors. Is
We
that
do
how
rock, paper, scissors to decide almost everything in my house.
Let's do it now. This 1, 2, 3. You don't know how to do it at
You
all.
do 1, 2, 3, and then
Oh, and then you
shoot.
do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. 1, 2, 3.
Jazz hands.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Oh, you beat me.
what was that?
Scissors.
Scissors.
How do you do scissors?
I don't know, way more butch than that. Scissors.
Is it?
Is it? Everything
Is
I
it?
do is more butch than you.
I don't. Yes.
I just can't help it. It just comes so naturally to me.
So that was it. Those were the only two roles that anyone seemed to get in a kerfluffle over. So the queens started working on their lines, and the first obvious collateral damage was poor Stephanie Prince. I mean, it's a good thing she didn't go with Nara Hader because she went with Clitney Leskoff. And I just have to say, not only did I think that this was a well-written spoof of a movie genre, much like last week's Rusical was one of the better ones written.
Oh, no, I think the writing this season is really good.
Yeah, Clitney Leskoff as a name, I just thought was so funny. And actually, all of them were pretty good. The only ones I didn't like were Nara Hader, because I felt that was a stretch,
Forced. Forced.
and a Martha instead of Amanda. So right away, Stephanie was playing Clitney Leskoff, and she is supposed to be suspicious and nervous, and she was just
She didn't get the suspicious.
no.
She seemed scared.
Well, anxious and suspicious.
Yeah, anxious, scared, terrified, but there was no like, what are you talking about, girl? Like there was just, you needed to just,
Mm-hmm.
like just, well, mix it up a little bit and follow the note.
Yeah. But what was funny about Stephanie Prince was that she said it was great typecasting for her because she goes through life anxious and nervous because she sees ghosts. She has sleep paralysis, and when she has sleep paralysis, she can see where all the ghosts are hiding.
Do you believe in sleep paralysis?
Isn't that just sleeping?
Isn't that just you still being asleep and dreaming and thinking you're awake? Oh God, I'm paralyzed. Maybe you're having a dream that you're awake. I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, I have to get up now. It's like, oh no, I'm just sleeping. I'm just dreaming that I have to get up. Yeah, I know. I've definitely had those moments where I'm waking up and like, oh, the monsters, and you scream, but you can't scream. I don't think that's.
I'm sure Jeffrey doesn't appreciate that.
He really doesn't.
No,
he doesn't.
The other thing that I thought was cute with them reading the script was Adriana asking what CONTD meant. Continued, like the speech, like, so it would be the speech, and then CONTD meant that it continues on the next page. It's not the end of what you're saying. And not only did everyone kind of giggle at that, because it is cute. That's cute when you, but a couple of them had the foresight to say, and don't say that out loud. Kind of like Jocelyn Fox with the gasp.
Gasp. Exterior. Night. Gasp.
So most of the queens were playing original characters in this story, but 3 of them were playing spoofs on the judges. We had Kendall, who was playing Brooklyn Heights, and her name was Hooken Heights. Adriana played Blood and Gorski, which was Brad Gorski, and Cynthia Kiss played Martha, who was Amanda.
But not Amanda.
No.
Amanda as a Martha.
From Handmaid's Tale, which I've never seen, so it's irrelevant to me.
Read the book.
Oh, I have.
Well, then you don't
I also remember the original movie. That's why I don't watch the series.
No,
I've seen it. I'm good.
You've seen it.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Kendall was excited to play Hooken Heights because she felt it was a more subtle role. It wasn't big and over the top because she just played the ringmaster, the MC of the circus.
Because Brooklyn is so subtle.
But what was funny was Cynthia Kiss wasn't feeling a Martha. In fact, she was feeling more like a Stressica Simpson, she said, which I have to say was one of the funniest things she said all season. Stressica Simpson.
I mean, not super topical, but...
No. What I thought was charming, Adriana, as we see more of the series, she's starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
And she's become quite lovely in my mind. And one of the things that surprised me about her was that she took theater in school. So she was not only ready for this part, but she was ready to go big or go home. And I just like that kind of commitment because a lot of people say they're going to do that, and then you spend the rest of the time going, well, where did that happen?
The best note you can get from a director is to bring it back, scale it down, drag it back in. That's way better than them trying to pump you up, pump it, rein it in.
Somebody else who was actually looking forward to playing a part that wasn't them was Kimora Amor. She was playing this is another great name, Frontal Loeb, the nerd Frontal. But she was saying that normally I play sassy and black, so now she's just playing a nerd. But
sassy black nerd.
Yeah. I thought there was lots of sass and
who says you can't be sassy if you're
no, exactly. But I have to say, I think for an acting challenge, I think this is one of the stronger casts.
I'm very impressed. I mean, considering how little time they have to do all of this, I'm super impressed with this cast.
Yeah. So as the queens were getting ready to film this, Pythia asked a production question because Halloween was this week. She asked what everyone had dressed up for, if they had a go-to costume for Halloween. Do you have a go-to costume? Do you know?
No, I used to...
You had that muff diver.
I did have my muff diver outfit, which was very lazy and fun and just a pun. I used to dress up as the Headless Horseman all the time. I would just you just take a big white shirt and pin it over your head and carry a pumpkin.
Oh, I thought you were going around saying you weren't getting any hat.
Oh, God, no. I don't dress up as lies.
My go-to costume is staying at home and eating chips.
It's a good costume.
I have the shirt, the Eaton shirt. It's right there.
It's my Chip Eaton shirt.
One thing that was surprising to me about this whole moment in the workroom was a Kendall Gender telling us that she doesn't do Halloween. She doesn't even book herself to work Halloween anymore because she's been sober for 6 years.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with that because not only do I think it's hard for younger people in their party years, I don't mean the age, I just mean that's your party years, everyone's partying. It's hard to not get caught up in the drama of it all if the drama's happening right in front of you.
I'm very impressed. I think a lot of these queens who work in bars, who are dealing with sobriety
Oh,
issues,
yeah.
it's a huge challenge for them.
No
It made me like
kidding.
Kendall a ton more. I don't
Yeah.
want to think of anyone like
Yeah.
down in the ditches living their lowest
Yeah.
moment, but it makes you be
And
like,
it
you know what,
sounds-
you've seen some stuff, you've lived some things, you've had to stare down at into the deep dark parts of your soul in the mirror, and you came back better for it. So
Better
yeah,
and stronger, yeah.
made me like Kendall a lot more.
Yeah. And then they hit the studio, which was just the workroom again. I actually liked how they filmed this. They weren't in a green screen. They were actually filming on location of the show because it took place in the show.
I was very confused at first because I'm like, okay, this is an awful lot of rehearsal. When are we going to move? When are we
Yeah.
going to move to the set? They seem
Yeah.
to be doing far too many dry runs,
Yeah.
wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
No mini challenge. You have to watch these rehearsals.
No.
Oh.
And Amanda was there with Fifi Dobson. Yeah, we love Fifi Dobson.
Fifi
Yeah, she's
Dobson.
great. And I have to say, both of them gave excellent direction. Sometimes, you watch these people, it's like, shut up. Why
You
are
don't know
you
what you're
talking?
saying.
There's a reason you don't work more. Another person who seemed to do good during the filming, and it's hard to tell because they're filming, they're stopping and starting and going, and then the whole thing gets edited later. So, I mean, as we've seen with past acting challenges, it's anybody's guess how it's all going to end up looking.
Oh God, yeah,
But-
you can fix a lot in that editing room.
Amanda gave kudos to Eve as narrator because she not only was doing a good job, but she looked like she was having a lot of fun doing it. And I have to say, I was impressed with her.
Oh yeah, it was the first time it looked like she wasn't about to have a conniption or breathe into a brown paper bag
Or lie about her skills.
or lie about her skills on her resume. It was the first time she seemed to just be like there and present and having a good time
Yeah.
and shining.
Yeah. Well done for Eve, too, I'm just saying. For the most part, there were very few notes to be had until they got to the three queens playing the judges. There were issues there for
Notes
sure.
there.
Well, Cynthia seemed to, as far as Amanda was concerned, be missing the Handmaid's Tale references.
Cynthia had no idea
No.
anything to do with The Handmaid's Tale, and for some reason wasn't asking questions or wasn't being directed properly, or
Either
maybe wasn't
way,
following the direction. But it was just,
a perfect storm of ignorance,
Yeah.
for sure. Something else that was a problem for Cynthia was she could not remember her lines either. Now, in her defense, she had said earlier that she wasn't feeling the part of a Martha, and she knew herself well enough to know that when she's not jiving with a part, it's an uphill battle
in
for
trouble.
her. Yeah, and she proved that to be true.
I mean, she ended up doing fine, but it wasn't the character that she was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It was just a female delivering lines,
Uh-huh.
much like us.
On the other end of that spectrum, Adriana killed it. She was huge and hilarious.
She was giving me some Count Chocula vibes.
Yes, very
little bit.
much that, yeah. The only other issue that seemed to come up where the queens playing the judges was with Kendall as Hook and Heights, because she, and I'm like this, she liked to ad-lib her lines. And whether that's a lazy thing, like for me, sometimes things aren't written in a way that's natural to say. So I'll switch them around so I can remember them better, because sometimes I have trouble remembering how it's written. But you still have to, as an actor, learn script word for word. And
Yeah,
she,
sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. But when your castmates are waiting for their cue, there's
and
nothing
you
to-
don't ever say the
yeah,
cue. Yeah.
There's something to be said for being in the moment and feeling it, and the words don't matter. But someone wrote those words, and those words matter to them.
Yeah.
And if the director is telling you that the words do matter, then the words matter. Get it in your
Seriously,
head.
yeah.
Seriously.
And then it was Elimination Day, and Eve was feeling it. She was sure that she didn't say this out loud to anyone, just in the confessional, but she was sure she was going to win this challenge. She was convinced of it.
Compared to where she was the first two
Oh my
weeks,
God. Yeah. Head and shoulders above.
Head and I mean,
Absolutely.
she's like, well, I was that bad before, and now I'm like a complete 180.
Yeah.
Am I at the top of the mountain? He's like, no, you still got a ways to
Yeah,
climb.
yeah. But you're not at the foothills.
You're not at the bottom anymore.
No, no. Production got Isis to ask if anyone was worried about their performance, and then they all looked at Stephanie Prince for some reason. She's like, "Why are you all looking at me?" And
Wow.
that was the essence of her character. She didn't get. Something also that happened while the queens were getting ready was Eve sharing with the room that although she has come out to her father, he had no idea that she was there at Canada's Drag Race competing. And it sounded to me like they had a history, like when Eve first came out, there were issues and they didn't talk for 5 or 6 years. and that now they're in a better place. Now, keep in mind that Eve is 29, almost 30. And when she told her dad that she was actually on her way somewhere to do something, and being very mysterious about it, her father was very, very pragmatic by saying, well, you're an adult. You need to do what you need to do. And I thought that was an excellent way to, like, your child is an adult now. You can't be telling them what to do, or it's not your responsibility for them to do what they're doing.
It's like, you're done. Leave the nest. Go flee, little gay bird.
Get out. Get out is how that sentence ends. But it gave a couple of the queens some insight as to why Eve's been kind of a little odd and hard to get to know. Cynthia mentioned how she was first doing drag. Her dad came to one of the shows and was, yeah, buddy, that's my kid. You know, like how lovely. That's the best support.
Well, I just picture her dad just like punching people in the arm and at the gay bar. That's my fucking kid, man. My kid, man.
Yeah. If that's your dad, you're okay.
That is not my dad.
No.
My dad is a slightly less gay version of me. Just a little bit.
One of the coming out stories that surprised me was Adriana saying that her parents thought she was the devil for being gay. And then her dad created fake profiles for social media and spied on her, and even started addressing her first boyfriend and kind of confronting them. She didn't explain how or what the messages said, but I'd be more worried about her dad having some issues if they know how to do all this already. Do you know what I'm saying? It just seemed, but Adriana said that her dad broke up her first relationship.
Rude. Maybe her dad was interested in her boyfriend.
I'm just saying.
What are you hiding there, Daddy?
Yes.
Yeah, there's Daddy, Adriana.
And then it was time for the runway. Brooklyn looked gorgeous in that red catsuit and that wig, that structure. That's the new wig is where they have sections that are really sculptural and they're either rhinestoned or painted different.
I'm getting used to that style because a lot of them give me Star Trek forehead vibes.
Yeah, it's
like
very
some Star Trek alien. It stops feeling like hair.
Amanda Brugel was there with Brad Gorski and Fifi Dobson.
Fifi!
And this week the category was Good Girls Gone Bad. And Suki Doll was out first. So she came out in a very pious robe, very non-denominational, possibly druid. And then doffed it, and she was just she had like one little swath of fabric just hanging off her boobs and covered in tattoos. She looked great.
I loved it.
She always looked
Loved
great.
it.
Yeah, that was an excellent runway.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'd give that a total Fingerdoo.
Fingerdoo. I'd give it a thumb do. So much I'd love to. You know, my thumb's not my best feature, is it?
No, but it's awfully bulbous. I'm just
It
saying.
is. It doesn't stand up straight. This is why I can't hitchhike. They're like, oh, you're going to the right? I'm like, no, I'm going down the street. What's wrong with my thumb? Is that normal?
Stop it. Put it away.
That's just what
It looks like a shrimp. An angry shrimp. Eve 6000 was next, and I am just going to say, wow. She had on that gray bodysuit and then the gray scale makeup, but what I was really impressed with was she matched that gray tone in the bodysuit. And that gray and red combination is always gorgeous. And then she took off the only problem with her runway, she had that little fumble to the reveal, but she took off that like 50s starlet dress and underneath had like a bondage bikini on, and it looked great.
I think she just needs to work on her poker face a little bit, because if she stood there and vamped and stuff while she was fiddling with her snap, it'd be like, oh, this whole thing, oh,
I don't know.
Like, I think it would have worked a little bit better than, snap, there it is.
Either way, I still gave her a Fingerdoo, because that was gorgeous. Stephanie Prince was next, and she was in that blue and white latex Dorothy influence number. And I'm just going to say, as cute as she looked, and she did look cute, it looked like something she just bought off the rack. Do you know what I mean? Like at like a sex shop.
Yeah, well, to me, it was a little too much good girl and not enough gone bad. Like, the fact that it was latex wasn't enough for me to be like, ooh, saucy.
Yeah, well, she didn't even seem to have like naughty knickers on. Like, because she had shorts. Like, there was a short with the skirt back.
Yeah, there just needed like a little something, like, you know, like a zipper down the bum, just something, you know.
Yeah.
Throw dildos at her.
Yeah, something. Yeah, she could have had a bigger dog in that basket. You heard me.
I did hear you. Yeah, get that nose right up there. Get that cold, wet nose right up there. Yeah, it was good. Just wasn't great.
No. So finger don't for Stephanie. Cynthia Kiss went down the runway in a green and black striped trapeze dress that I guess the palette was bad. Like, I mean, bad girl. You know what I mean? Like green and black. That's
Like poison
smacks of
ivy,
like a Batman evil.
Green is a villain color.
Yeah, villain color. But other than that, I mean, and I don't know, it just missed the mark again.
Yeah.
I wasn't that impressed with it. So
It wasn't awful, but it didn't wow me.
middle of the road. I mean, she looked good, but
Oh,
she
yeah,
didn't look great. Finger don't for Cynthia. The next queen down the runway took the good girl gone bad literally. It was geometric, and she had on that white Hollywood glamour gown, and then what I could only think were pustules. But it was mold. She was going bad, literally.
Buboes or what
Yeah,
have you.
yeah.
Yeah, I am liking Gia more and more.
Yeah,
Every week she's got a sense of humor about herself. Like she's one of those queens I like in the challenges I like on the runway, and then I don't like their confessional.
No, I don't like listening to her. She gives me tinnitus.
I don't like her out of drag.
She's loud. She's loud and screechy.
Doing the challenge, lovely.
Yeah.
Talking about the challenge,
Yeah, I thought she looked good, and I thought it was a nice out of the box approach to the subject. So I gave her finger due. The next queen down the runway was Pythia, and she was in a vinyl nun outfit, and she was giving me like very gothic, a card. You know the art for a card, the face cards.
Yes.
She looked like that, like very almost Renaissance of herself. And then she whipped off the vinyl nun. Like if that wasn't bad enough, the vinyl nun suit. Underneath, she had a body stocking, nude body stocking, then red hands coming around her, hiding all her no-no, like the devil reaching around and grabbing her, and it
demons
was stunning.
pulling her down to hell,
and horns on her head and everything. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yes, this queen is here to play the game, so I had to give her a finger due. Bless her, seriously.
Yeah, if you're gonna wear an outfit that's similar to another girl, you just gotta make sure you wear it better.
Make it better, yeah. Hey. Kimora Amor was next, and she had on that pious pope-like outfit, which was fine. And then she whipped off the robe, and she had underneath like a little unitard with a back skirt that looked like studded strips of leather. And then she took off the hat, but she had a quick change issue with that too. It just was fussy. And then once it was off, she unflipped her ponytail, which was really pretty because it was braided to a point and then chained like a mace, and then the rest of the ponytail. But I'm going to give her a finger due because, yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't... I don't know. I seem to be more impressed with the robe part of it than the reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these girls forget that the
reveal has to be better.
Like both parts of it have to be good.
Yes.
Like you can't just wear a brown bag and be like, it's a reveal.
Yeah.
But if the reveal's not better than what you're wearing on top, and so by a good measure, then
what are you doing?
Why are you revealing this to?
Speaking of someone who did not wear it well, Kendall Jenner also dressed as a nun, not a vinyl nun. And then she whipped off the vinyl nun, and she was a horny devil underneath. And I have to say, I did like the horny devil.
It was cute.
It was cute, but it was no Pythia. And I feel if Kendall had gone down the runway earlier, I would have liked her outfit more.
Yeah, yes. As soon as you're comparing it to someone else, I mean, it's not as bad as the Night of a Thousand Madonna Kimonos. But it was still like, oh yeah, this is good too. It was kind of like that two part. Oh yeah, that was it's just not quite as good as Pythia's.
Yeah, I gave her a finger due too because it wasn't as bad as some of them, but yeah, I wish that she had gone down the runway first.
Yeah, it definitely suffered by going down second.
Yeah, it's a shame. Adriana, this was her week because she was really impressing me. For somebody who's been, in my opinion, a little quiet and a little behind, like behind the scenes more, her Marie Antoinette Let Them Eat My Head costume.
I was so, because watching her get ready, because I had no idea
what she was doing.
The final product was.
No.
I'm like, girl, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you putting on your face right now? What is happening? I'm like, you gotta wait, because this all looks like a dog's breakfast until you get the lashes and then the wig on. So you gotta be patient. You gotta wait for it, and it was worth the wait. I was so impressed.
Yeah, well, and the detail too, the fact that they're like the tights, the stockings had lace ups on the outside. There were garters, there were bows, there were layers. The cakes and the little tables on the platter that were holding up some of the cakes had those dangling crystals, and
gorgeous.
And her wig and the makeup, it was so impressive. So total finger due for Adriana.
All the fingers do.
I have to say, I am a huge fan of Isis Couture, her aesthetic, but she went down the runway as that yellow bunny, which she said was Was it a comic book
I
character?
didn't get the reference at
No,
all.
I don't know. And yellow's such a happy color. So there was nothing about this that said gone bad.
Yeah, I didn't. The problem for me was I didn't get the reference in the first place. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, but it was a gorgeous
I was
costume,
confused.
and she looked great in it.
She
So
looked stunning.
I
Yeah.
did give her a Fingerdoo, but yeah, I didn't understand it.
Finger why?
Well, maybe a
Finger
knuckle do.
what?
Just the knuckle do.
Just a
The
half
knuckle
inch.
do.
Just up to the first knuckle.
Yeah, maybe the second, but that's because I coughed.
You're not getting the entire
No.
phalange.
No,
phalanges.
no. And then it was time to watch Screech. Now, what did you think of this?
I enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was fun.
I have to say, at first when they were filming it, I was like, oh, I don't know. But it edited together pretty good. The storyline was
It
great.
came together nice. I mean, these things don't have to be great works of theater.
No.
They just have to hang together and be funny
Yeah.
enough. Like the baseline is pretty low, and this was way
It was
above.
pretty good. And
super
having the
impressed by this
sparkly
season.
hand of evil doing all of the killing. Eve's death, where
Eve
she narrated her own death,
was
hilarious.
hilarious.
And then at the end to find out that the masked murderer was Jimbo, of all people.
What a treat!
So funny.
What a treat! I had no idea. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was
And
coming.
at first I thought it was Brooklyn playing Jimbo, but I blame her new cheeks.
No.
And then it was time for the judges' critiques. And Isis, Kimura, Pythia, and Sukidol were all safe, so they frigged off to the Untech Lounge.
Frig off.
Yeah. And the judges started with Eve. And for the most part, they had nothing bad to say
Yeah.
about her. No.
Good job, Eve.
Yeah, yeah. Brooklyn felt that she had turned a corner in the competition. I mean, it's only episode 3. I
Yeah.
mean, she could have looked around the corner and then got
And then
there.
like,
We
what's
don't
going
know.
on over there?
But
yeah, it's not like she could have gotten worse.
no. Well, thank God she didn't continue, at least being on that same level of what she had been doing. Like, this was clearly a spike for Eve. And all the judges loved it. They loved her runway. They loved her performance.
What was not to love? It was all good.
Yeah.
It was all great.
Good week to be
Good job, Eve.
Here's to Eve. Good week to be Eve. Just say it. Stephanie Prince was next, and most of the judges, well, all of the judges agreed that she was one note. It was just kind of the same thing through the whole thing, and they got bored with her.
Yeah, and she seems so proud of that one note, though. She's like, but you know what? I love that note. It's like, but you didn't listen to it. But I did exactly what I wanted to do, which was a so-so job.
Which wasn't what was asked.
I just
of you.
wanted
Yeah.
to. I just wanted to do an average job.
Yeah, yeah.
I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting way of dealing with critique.
Cynthia Kiss was next, and she was the first negative critique. The Brad, for instance, thought she had missed the mark with her and Martha, and Amanda pointed out that even if she hadn't seen A Handmaid's Tale, she should have known what all of the adjectives were that were being used.
It's still English.
She just seemed to not emote anything that was requested of her as far as the judges were concerned. So
Yeah, it's just like she kind of came in with an idea and went with the idea. It was the wrong idea.
yeah.
Like, again, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't amazing.
No,
It was
bless
fine.
her. Yeah. And Fifi Dobson, in true Fifi form, loved her runway too. So it's not all bad.
Fifi's just happy to be there.
She's
Good
the
for
Paula
Fifi.
Abdul of the group.
We love Fifi.
Yeah, we do.
She's the
Yeah,
best.
she's
She's
great.
the bee's knees.
Geometric was next, and she got some great praise as well. Amanda Brugel actually congratulated her for asking questions, because she seemed to be one of the only ones who, when she didn't understand what something was, did ask a question. And Gio was so pleased that Amanda was pleased. So much so that she went off on a 4-hour monologue about it. And
Ooh, girl. But at least at the Oscars, eventually someone started playing
They
some
play 'em
music
off.
to
They
let
play
you know
'em
that you're
off.
supposed to stop.
yeah, all she got was Brooklyn saying, "Okay, thanks."
Okay, thanks, girl. Okay, that's great.
Oh, but I love it when they cut to the other girls.
Well, the judges are always complaining that they want to see more personality on the runway, and
Yeah, be specific.
apparently
Maybe
Gia's
they just-
personality is thank you speeches.
Yeah. Next up was Kendall Gender, who all the judges agreed could have been bigger with the part.
Yeah.
And she even said, well, she chose that part specifically so she had something to underplay. But then the bigger problem with her performance was the ad-libbing.
Well, it's the ad-libbing, for sure. The underplay choice I also thought was weird, because
Yeah.
these are not
These aren't subtle
acting
performances.
challenges.
No.
This is not to assess how good of an actor you are, so you don't really need to show range, your acting range.
Yeah.
Entertain us.
And then to continue in that kind of vein of critiquing, Brooklyn said even though she looked good in her runway, it was obvious. I don't know how obvious, but I guess having one nun turn into the devil and then a second, you start to expect something.
I mean, we had 2 pylons last week, so lots of parallel thought.
Yeah. The funniest part of this whole critique for me was Brooklyn, before critiquing Adriana, asked her, how the hell do you pronounce her name? Now, what I find funny about that is nobody asked Pythia, and they all say her name wrong.
Well, they're just like, you know what? This feels right.
Pythia.
This feels close enough.
You look like a Pythia.
You feel Pythia.
But Adriana said it was Adriana.
Yeah. She then pronounced it in a way that none of us will be capable of pronouncing.
Ever again. No.
We're still going to butcher and anglicize your name.
Yeah, but we'll do it with more flair.
With more flair. I can't roll my R's. My mouth is not that Spanish.
Once that was covered, well, they couldn't say enough about her performance. Everyone loved it. They all thought she was great. And the tone seemed to be universal, that there was part Brad, part Count Chocula. Very funny. And so here's to Adriana.
Adriana.
You can do it. You just don't try.
I just don't try.
So back in the Untucked Lounge, the Safe Queens were commiserating over who they thought was going to win. And surprise, surprise, they all felt that it was Eve's week. They thought for sure she'd won.
Yeah, I mean, she did a great job. I would have definitely put her in the top 2 for sure.
When the rest of the queens came in, Stephanie was worried she was in the bottom. But what was funny about that was Kendall and Cynthia were too. And the minute they both said they were worried about being in the bottom, all I saw was a production gimmick of having 2 best friends from the same province lip sync. And I thought that's how it was going to go. And clearly they did as well.
Well, it didn't even cross my mind. I just thought they were bad.
Yeah. But there were 3 clear bottoms for sure.
There were 3 clear bottoms. And again, it's one of those weeks where you're like, yeah, you're in the bottom, but you didn't
die. It wasn't horrible. No.
Like people were like, oh.
No. You didn't
Yeah.
embarrass yourself. It just wasn't
great.
You were up against some good queens.
You got a shunned.
The one thing that I thought was funny, the crier, Eve, was crowing about the fact that she was in the top for a change. And what made that interesting is when she's clear she's in the bottom, she is just an emotional vacuum. She just sucks all of the energy out of the room.
Yeah.
But what's ironic is she's an emotional vacuum when she's a winner too.
Yeah. Eve really wants you to feel whatever she's feeling along with her. You can't have your own feelings in the room, because it's either, why are you all being happy when I'm in the bottom? And why can't you be happy that I'm in the top?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just be happy or sad for yourself?
There's also a level of, those people that are constantly fishing for a compliment.
Yes.
So they go, oh, I was the worst, because they want to hear you say, no, you weren't. Or,
I like to
I was in the
disagree with
top
them.
because they want to hear, yeah, you were great. I always say, I was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree with them. I'm not going to lie to someone.
No.
I was terrible. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't the best.
Yeah. Or at the worst, I'll be like, well, the audience really didn't seem to like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the audience. I'm not an idiot. I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just agree. I agree with people. Same with compliments now, though.
Yeah.
You were great. I was great. You're right. You were correct.
Yeah.
I was very entertaining.
Somebody else who was winning this week was Adriana, because she was just very proud for the judges to see and comment on her costume, because she and her partner made that together. In fact, they do all of her costumes together. And wow.
Lucky duck.
Well, as that praising went on, because everyone agreed her costume was stunning, well, Stephanie Princess got more and more emotional. And unlike Eve, she kept it to herself, except for the wailing. So when the queens returned to the runway, it was announced that Gia Metric was safe, which got a weird reaction from Pythia.
Did you think that was weird?
I did,
really
because
weird.
she just kind of went, huh? She's safe. Because I don't think she was ever one of the queens that was considered in the bottom.
No, like they loved her outfit, and
Cynthia,
they thought she
Kendall,
did okay.
and Stephanie. Everyone else.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where I was like, was this just a weird editing choice? Like you didn't
Yeah, did she react like that to someone else?
What was it? Was there a fly in the room? You're like, oh, that's a great
It
shot.
stood out to me as odd, just because I can't imagine why
an
anyone
interesting
would think
choice.
she wasn't safe.
Your choices.
Right after that, though, it was announced that this week's winner was Adriana, and nobody reacted to that. Everyone agreed. So here's to Adriana. Well done.
Cheers, girl.
Yeah, no kidding. Well done. And then it was down to the bottom three, which was Kendall, Cynthia, and Stephanie. And the next safe queen was Kendall, and she seemed not only relieved, but shocked. She was convinced she was going to be at the bottom. But
she didn't cry in the back of the room.
No, and even though she underplayed the part, she gave us more than one note. So yeah, I can see why she was safe.
Yeah.
Which of course then left Cynthia Kiss and Stephanie Prince in the bottom two, and they had to lip sync to Fifi Dobson's Ghost.
Like a ghost.
Again, Halloween week. And what did you think of this lip sync?
That's all right.
Yeah.
It didn't. It was the one thing that didn't really wow me for the episode. Like it was fine.
No.
It just wasn't.
I thought that Stephanie ended it well. She did that kind of like backdrop, like onto her knees and then onto the floor at the last beat of the song, which was a great way to end it.
It was another one of those ones that it seemed to take them a while to warm up.
What was interesting to me was Cynthia Kiss off the hop said, well, I have been dancing since year one, and now's my chance to show the judges. And I kept waiting for her to do something fabulous.
I know, after the singing thing, it was like, oh, she didn't tell us she was a singer.
No, even if she'd broken out into some complicated tap dancing, I would have been impressed. She did that one, like the windmill arm spinny thing, which I thought she was going to go right off the stage, which I wish she had, because that would have been hilarious. But no, there was no... I just expected more showmanship from her, something really wowy, and there wasn't. And in fact, she kind of pissed me off a bit, because from the middle on, she kind of started blocking Stephanie from the judges, which I always feel is like, clearly you're playing dirty pool.
Do it once. It's kind of a ha.
Yeah.
Maybe
work it
a
into your
callback as a ha. Yeah, I just thought that both of them, because Stephanie claims to be a dancer, and then Cynthia's like, I'm a dancer as well as a singer. I'm like, great, this is going to be one of the best lip syncs of the season. It was just it's fine.
Yeah. And again, no, I'm not playing favoritism or anything. But I did feel Stephanie edged Cynthia out a little. But when it was all said and done, it was Cynthia who shantaed, and poor Miss Stephanie Prince, who sashayed away. And I have to say, I'm just so sorry to see her go, only because she was adorable so funny.
She always had something to say.
And kept the other queens in line with that something to say. Yeah.
She kind of had that. She brought a bit of an outsider's eye. She's like the only queen from Calgary. Like she's just not part of the cliques. I really like that outsider's perspective on things.
Yeah. So here's to Stephanie Prince. It was great meeting you.
Great meeting you.
You're a great queen. You did a great job. Sorry you're off.
Stephanie.
Do you think that they both deserve to be in the bottom? Was that a good call? Do you think Kendall should have been in there?
I would have been satisfied with any of the three of them in the bottom. Yeah. Honestly,
do you think that Eve has finally found her footing and is on an upward? No.
No, I have
she'll be back in the bottom next week?
I have no trust that Eve can keep this train rolling. I really hope she does. I really hope she does.
Yeah.
But I hope the first 2 weeks were just a bumpy ride. Now it's smooth sailing. But we need at least another week to figure out if this was the exception or if this is the rule.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about you? Do you think that they should have been in the bottom? Do you think other people should have been in the bottom? Do you think that Adriana should have won? Was it Eve's week? I mean, it was more surprising to see her do well. Let me know in the comments down below. And hopefully this week, Wilhelmina blinked more for you.
Wilma put fresh batteries in.
But either way, make sure you leave a comment down below. While you're down there, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And if you'd like to support this channel by being a tipper-do, joining me on Patreon with the Fingerdoo family, or buying something from my Redbubble shop, all those links are down below as well. Until next week, miss us! Mwah! Bye! I was going to say bye, but it's a mwah. never say. Well, I do say bye. You and I say bye all the time, but it's not.
But not like
video
not like
worthy.
professional.
No, that's a very, very nice Trixie mirror you have.
This is a nice. You know what?
You must have got a very expensive
Very
present.
kind old woman bought this for me.
Probably for your birthday, because you're getting old and she's feeling bad for you.
Probably because she got tired of making things crack. She's like, I better get rid of all these extra mirrors.
Have you changed your opinion as to who you think might be able to win the whole thing now that we're 3 episodes in?
No, I haven't.
No, you're still-
I have no idea who my favorite.
You feel that all of them are equally impossible to win, or
I think
except for
so.
Eve? Except for Eve.
Except for Eve. Yeah, I think everyone but Eve. Poor Eve. Bless her little cotton socks.
No kidding.
Scattering
Same as
through
geometric. It doesn't all have to be a soliloquy. This isn't Hamlet.
No, you're not that interesting. Some people just can't stop talking
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
like, I'm very. Everything I'm saying is very wise.
Yeah. Well, what we say is wise because we're old now. We've seen things.
Yes.
We've buried a few bodies. We know what's what.
We're wise.
But until you're 25, 26, how old is
You don't know.
geometric?
She's in her
23?
late. No.
Oh, she older than that?
Oh, she
then
older
she
than
should
that.
know better. She should know
She's
better.
older than that.
No.
She's late 30s. Late 30s. No, she's late 20s, early 30s. God, I felt Gia reach through the camera.
I
for that
wanted
one.
to get out of your way, but I was
I'm
in
pretty sure
mid-sip.
she's like, isn't she like 28, 29?
I don't
You
really
know,
pay attention to
What
this.
age are you when things just really start to fall apart? She's like a year away from that. How old were you when that happened?